Good evening, Fredonia. You're listening to the local lowdown on WCVF 88.9 The Voice and WDVL 89.5 The Inferno. Hi, I'm Mala, your co-host, executive producer, and promotions lead.
Hello, what's up? I'm Jordan, and I am your A&R lead, and I am your other co-host.
Heyo, it's me, Alex, in the booth once again, making sure the sound is going through the soundboard, and it, in fact, is today.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems, in a group effort to promote and showcase the local music scene here in Fredonia, but also Western New York at large. Welcome to the Local Lowdown.
On this episode, we have our guest for the week, Speed Dial. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
What is up?
Alrighty. So why didn't you guys introduce yourselves? You can guys go down the line. Your name and what role you play in the band.
I'm
John.
I'm Cooper. I do the vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Alex, and I do the lead guitar.
And that's John.
I think
And
I
that's
went
true.
first.
Go
Wait.
ahead.
He
Oh
claimed
yeah,
it.
I'm John, and I play bass as well. No, I'm the only one who plays bass. Yeah.
Cool. So how did you guys meet and start making music? What's the origin story?
Me and our drummer Will had a project before, and we were looking to get more people. So when I first met Coop, actually, he was one of my siblings' friends, and he used to come over a lot. So I knew of him.
I thought Alex was the coolest. He still is the coolest person ever. But I remember meeting Alex. I was like, dude, if I could just be in a band with this guy, it's all that would matter to me. And then I ended up doing it for like 3 years and later or something.
Right, exactly, yeah.
It's really good context to mention that we all went to the same high school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And this guy was like several years ahead of us. He was like the shred god guitar player. Us three were all guitar majors. And so we both kind of looked up to him, and he used to bully me specifically.
I remember
Let's bring that
walking
up.
through the hallways, and there was like the photos of the seniors that graduated before
Yeah.
or whatever, and Alex's photo was on the wall. And I remember
Worst haircut.
it was awesome. And in the guitar ensemble, they would all talk about the people that like shredded the years before or whatever. And Meldrum's name would come up all the time, and I'd sit there and look at his photo. I'm like, that's the guy they were talking about. That's the dude.
His face is familiar.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess like me and John were in the same grade, so we went to high school all together. And then Willie was a senior when me and Johnny were freshmen. And then when we graduated, we were going to house shows a bunch and stuff like that. And I remember Will like put a wild drum video on Facebook, and I like commented on it or something. Was like, "This is sick." He's like, "Yeah, if you ever want to jam, like let me know." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then so yeah, we ended up jamming. And then I remember talking with John. I was like, "John, if we can just get this guy to be down, like we'll be able to do
You
the
guys
band."
plotted a plan.
Yeah,
The rest is history.
Yeah, rest is history. We all just got together and did it.
Wow. Well, this band used to go under a different name. Used to
Oh,
go
yeah.
under the Plaza. What can you tell us about the band at that time, and then the decision to change your name to Speed Dial?
I mean, a lot of it was like a lot of both our songs and our name, and really anything that has a name, we can give credit to Will in part. He just was like, he's just like, well, let's name it this, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Plaza was that sort of like a uniform thing? I can't remember
mean,
anymore.
We just needed a name. I remember. I think that was the same thing with Speed. I mean, none of it was really like.
It was very democratic.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, this is a cool idea.
Yeah. Largely focused around like what we could make potentially cool merch out of down the line.
Yeah. I
Which is
remember.
really
that.
stupid and not the right way to do it. But
Yeah, I remember there was a conversation about how like we should do Speed Dial because like all the letters would be the circle and the rotary phone for like a shirt. It was just so like ridiculous to think about. but-
I actually
Yeah.
had an old, back when I was living at my mom's place, she had an old rotary phone, and that was, I just took an image of that and edited it in
Yeah.
all the letters.
Yeah.
You're thinking ahead.
Yeah. So then we did So yeah, it was Plaza for like about a year or whatever, and we recorded like this little tiny EP in the attic of like this house. It was called Noiseland or like Flower House. It had
Flower
multiple
House.
names. And the dudes in On the Cinder, it's like a punk band back home in Buffalo. They ran the house.
I have
It
to do a quick shout out though. They're playing on Saturday the 25th. They're going to be
Yeah.
at Mohawk Place.
Yeah, their 10-year anniversary.
Yep.
But but yeah, recorded that there. And then I don't know, just as time we kind of changed it, and I stopped like yelling aggressively. I don't know. We kind of just figured out our sound a little bit more. Came around.
And so that's hiding somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah, or Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Bandcamp too.
Hiding.
Thanks for letting us know. All right, so you guys have described the name Speed Dial, and this is your words, as an homage to an era that is no more. Can you guys elaborate on the Speed Dial era and your personal connection to it?
I don't know. That is a goof. That is like sitting on the floor. I think me and Will were sitting on the floor of my bedroom, and we were probably under the influence of just alcohol, whatever you're doing or whatever. And we're just talking about it. And we're like, "Let's the homage or whatever." Yeah, which is something funny. I don't know what that means. Super deep. Yeah,
Fair enough.
it's just mumbo jumbo.
We were feeling a little reminiscent because we're like, I was very hesitant to make the name switch, and I think that sort of rubbed off on you guys. I'm like, we gotta keep Plaza.
Yeah, Alex was hesitant. And I think we didn't even check in really that much. I think we just did it one day, which was terrible.
No, I mean,
But
I like it now.
here we are, yeah.
Oh, wow. But, I mean, it's more reflective to you guys now, correct?
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I think
Most
so.
Okay.
definitely.
I was going to
good.
be like, let's not bring up old memories. Just like have a...
I'm glad it worked out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first song you guys ever released under the Speed Dial name was Bird Skull.
Yes. Yeah.
First song I heard from you guys. Really enjoy it. Caught my ear right away. I thought it really captured kind of, I guess, that sinking feeling in your stomach, especially at the beginning. And then, I don't know, it just develops from there in its own way with lots of instrumental breaks, abstract lyrical themes.
Yeah.
How did that song come together?
I don't know. I think a lot of the music, I mean, a couple of the tunes are like, a lot of it be written already, or we'll have a section written already. I think Bird Skull is one of the things that we kind of like, all four of us just pieced together with things that like at practice, like it sounded right or whatever. Put lyrics over it. I mean, it wasn't just like this, it came to somebody, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just constructing like what we thought sounded cool. And like if somebody was messing around, jamming or something, it's like, oh, hold on, stop. Do that again. And like, we'll do this here. We'll do this here.
Yeah.
So a lot of that
A
was
lot of
just that
trial and
stuff.
error.
Yeah.
I do remember distinctly the one day that we were in the park, maybe like circa 2019, 2020. I don't know when it was, but we were both doing a lot of like, we were like struggling so hard to find what the opening lyrics should be.
Yeah.
I don't know how I wrote the opening
Yeah.
lyrics to that. I just pulled that out of somewhere.
What is it?
And then everything else
Bonsai
was just,
tree.
yeah.
Yeah, the bonsai tree.
It's very
Aw.
memorable.
It
I like
is.
it a lot.
Dude, that's cool, man. Dude, the bonsai tree was cool. I remember you're like, yo, let's say this. I'm like, dude, that is sick. I was like, yeah.
I didn't even know that was you, to be honest, dude.
Yeah.
Discovering new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What inspired the metaphor of the bird skull in the song?
Yo, our drummer,
Willie said that. He was like,
he's been accused in his life of having a bird-shaped skull. that's it.
and it worked.
You,
You know
had
what?
me for like a split second.
I know that's crazy. Honestly, that's it.
A lot of it, I mean, it is a metaphor. Well, I always heard it as that. Like, we never really talked about the meaning of a lot of things. But you think of a bird skull, you think of like, he would specifically, when we were in our practice space, he was talking about like the imagery of a bird, like hitting
Yeah.
a door or something.
Yeah.
And how it, like, it's fragile. So I think it was definitely, we were in a fragile state of mind. A lot of things were happening, life events that were stressful, or whether it be relationships or work issues, school, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I remember that being so like sick, and like it was cool how that came about, because it was, I have a bird skull. I'll fly into a window and fly into a window and die.
Yeah.
And it's like if I jump from this nest or whatever, you know what I mean? It was just like a play on the idea, and it was just us just sitting there talking at practice one time at the practice space. It was I remember that very distinctly.
Yeah.
Makes so much
Well,
sense though.
Yeah. Despite some of the heavier topics on the song, I thought that there was kind of a real release of tension in the part at the end where there's that groovy breakdown. Gets stuck in my head all the time.
That's so funny.
I love that part. How did that come about?
I don't know. I always
We-
felt. Oh, you go ahead.
we just have really good chemistry. I feel like
Yeah.
it's. I stop when Will stops. Like we won't even have to look at each other, and just like it's a lot of it's supernatural.
Yeah.
And that was part of why it worked so well with Cooper and John. Like right off the bat, was that their chemistry worked so well with us. So like a year after that EP came out, we're writing Bird Skull, and it's just I feel so bad to say it because it's like people are like, "How do you do this? How do you do this?" And I hate to be like, "Well, it just happens." But a lot of it is just it just
does
happens.
happen.
Yeah,
I
it
mean-
sounds natural in the song. Like I can see where you're coming from there.
Yeah, that part was definitely just a jam we just did. Like, remember maybe we were running the song. I'm like really far. Remember we were running the song or something like that, and we just went into it. It's funny. It's always a part I felt like I was like, this is like completely different from the rest of the tune. Not completely different, but I was just like, this is like, if I had to have like not like a least favor or whatever, but I always felt like that part was like obscure to me, and everyone like that listened to it always would talk about how that part was sick, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
why.
Well, and another thing too is that we were like always. It wasn't just for Bird Skull. It was for any song. We had a part that we had to like shoehorn in just to make it sound different.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff like that.
The
little
exception
deliberate
being
move.
like Cannonball or something.
Yeah,
Because that was like
definitely.
multiple ideas just rolled into one.
Well, on that part, shout out to Will, who can't be here today, for those
Yeah.
heroic drum fills.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think he's at a dinner or he's like
With his
working or something.
family, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did want to talk about your new debut EP, I Dumbass. It just came out, and I mean, it's, as you were mentioning before, almost about to be a year. What can you tell us about, I guess, the creation of the EP? Anything that we should know?
Well, I think I said earlier that a lot of our namesake is attributed to our drummer who just, an idea will pop in his head and we'll just have to like use it. But as for the namesake, I always took it as a metaphor for like how we were feeling in the moment. But we were like very lost in our place in the music scene. We felt like, well, it was especially during COVID.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
we were just like, what are we gonna do? And especially since like once the local music scene was taken out, just like there was a hold on that. A lot of our passion sort of quickly went away as well. We don't see each other for almost a year,
Yeah.
and then we jump back into it, and like luckily that it worked out. Maybe it took a few practices, but we were right back into the groove of things afterwards. But that was definitely sort of like a
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a good chunk of time. A lot of these songs are. I keep going backwards. A lot of these songs are pretty old. Like a lot of them are, or at least the ideas were, like the skeletons of them, and like from pre-pandemic, like during the pandemic when we were still kind of like on the phone with each other and things like that. So it was dicey in that way to come back to them. It was like, do we record these songs? Like, how do we record them? We should have already recorded them. You know what I mean? Like forever or whatever. But it's also the different things happen. Yeah, as for the name, I just remember sitting there and we were all like, practices would be nothing but ridiculousness. Just everybody saying random things, being like over the top, having a great time. I remember like the name of the EP was just something I think we were all messing around with. Yeah, like Willie was saying, we were all just hanging out and talking. And we went through different ideas for the EP, and we went through different like covers, and like some of which like somebody was like, yeah, let's definitely do it, and someone's like, I don't know, and then like we all would have that little like train of thought or whatever. But we kind of figured out with this EP and the release that like, I don't know, we all just kind of settled on an idea that we really kind of just like couldn't understand individually with each other.
even more so. Like I feel like it wasn't more of a settling; it was more of just like let's just do this.
Yeah.
It was a little impulsive, but it was also just like it was still us as immature as it may have been or whatever.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, it's kind of how we are. We're all like really goofy and like, I don't know.
Just a bunch of goofy guys.
Right, Johnny? What do you think?
Yeah, dude. I think honestly, we just needed a name because you're going to California in like 2 days. So like, we just settled on something, But it's funny. I mean, it's a.
I love the name, I will say.
That's sweet.
Say it again. But something I did want to point out, and I do this, I feel like every episode, but it's always very interesting to see how different bands, and obviously, especially like in the Buffalo and Western music scene during and I'm gonna use a different word because YouTube likes to be funny with the pandemic word. The pandoodle. I call it the pandoodle. Okay.
Pandoodle.
Yeah,
I
the
like
that.
pandoodle. To kind of just censor a bit of it.
Yeah.
And kind of how different bands kind of took the. I mean, what more can you say with that? What it was.
Yeah.
But how different bands, like from personal situations to kind of like coming back and trying to create music, or to making music during that time, and
Yeah.
like feeling not necessarily inspired, but making music to either ease their mind or making music
Right.
because they're stuck at home. But it's always interesting to see how bands necessarily kind of took, unfortunately, like those 2 years and use them or
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to really say, but it's always interesting to see.
Yeah,
what kind
it's
of
really different to everyone we talk to too.
it really is.
That's so
yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
It's always brought up, never by us, but it's always brought up by artists, and it's
Yeah.
always interesting to listen to because I'm like, that,
well,
it's
yeah.
kind of funny because we've never brought it up, and
Never.
almost like every single interview,
well, yeah.
someone brings it up. I mean, it makes sense.
I feel like it's
'cause
something
it's
that
recent still.
Yeah, and I feel like it's something that even besides just bands, like people in life, like a lot of like that time changed everything for a lot of different people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
your routes of life, or like how you viewed life, how you viewed like
Mhm.
anything.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that was definitely interesting, and now it's very interesting. But yeah, I mean, now like I said, the songs are from like not before, but kind of like a lot of it was just like all these ideas. So
Mhm.
yeah, we just kind of like everybody else just had to kind of work with that situation and see what would come of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is interesting. I bet that is interesting for you guys. Just
Oh
talk,
yeah.
hear the outlet about it. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Well, in terms of the sound of the EP, I find it has a nice balance of catchy hooks and also that more technically proficient math rockness. How do you guys balance those different things within your sound?
What do you think, Johnny?
I think honestly, we just kind of we write riffs we think are cool, and then this guy tries to sing over them.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
The whole process.
There's been, like I said, there's been times like that's most of it.
Even in our songwriting, we're sort of democratic, where will be like, our drummer will be like, oh, it needs something else.
Yeah.
There's a piece that's missing. And, whether or not that's Coop or I or John will
Flush it out.
We'll flush it out.
Which, in a way, we kind of always still feel about all of the songs. We never felt like they were complete, but it was like, we're in the
Yeah.
studio, we bought the time now, we got it, this is what it has to be.
Yeah, it's
And
4
that's
years
kind of how
old.
everything settled, so.
Yeah, a lot of the songs like we wrote in the studio, but we did like Ty Pennington. We wrote choruses in the studio. Like a lot of it was demos based off of iPhone recordings, and it wasn't like anything. And they were all just like just more of like a vision or whatever. And we just had to feel it out, which is it's very interesting how they all came out.
I think the person who first recorded us, Jason, he said that was like the cardinal sin of the studio was writing parts while you're recording in the studio.
Yeah.
And we committed that many times.
Sorry, Jason.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jason.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't want to pronounce Trevor's last name wrong, so help me out here.
All beers.
The ball bearing.
The ball bearing, dude.
No, it's not. No,
It's
tell me the
not.
way it is. No, I'm not gonna fall for it again. How is it said? Trevor.
Nobody
beers.
really knows.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a
It's the
mystery.
ultimate
We've
mystery.
talked to so many bands that have worked with him, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't really know either."
I think it's ball beers. Or
Okay,
something.
that's-
I always said it
but
kind of
not-
like that.
Ball Bears?
I remember, I think it's like that. I remember thinking it was Balvarez forever, and then he was like, no, it's Balbeers. Or he said something, and I was like,
We should just call him live in the studio and get his
yo,
answer.
what's your
That would
name,
be
dude?
hilarious.
Say your name to it.
Dude, he was great.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, that's the question.
Trevor, this is for you. He produced a project along with you guys.
Yeah.
What was the experience working with him? Have you guys worked with him before? What was?
It was amazing. We never worked with
Yeah.
him before. It was amazing. He is the reason why that music's out, and he is the reason why everything for a lot. I mean, like we said, a lot of the songs we like had to figure out in the studio and things like that. And Trev was just
So patient.
patient, and he was very himself.
that.
Just
Very
like
himself. Allowed us to be ourselves.
yeah, exactly. And we were there for I think 7 days, and there was times where like we might be late, or there's times where like we're just being eggheads
It
or
was
whatever.
10 days.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was a while. It
Yeah.
was a while, and it was awesome. It was like, and he was just so like, I don't know, like, we got so close with him after that. We saw him from around shows in Fredonia and things like that, and like he
Yeah.
plays in gigs in like Erie Shores or Mimic now or whatever.
I think the first
Right.
time we saw him was like
Ashford.
Sugar City.
Yep.
We took a big group photo. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember he was like, "Oh, you remember me from this?" I was like, I had to rack my
remember
brain
that.
about it.
Yeah.
But dude, he is literally like our fifth Beatle. He, a lot of he just worked the magic.
And he,
You
he
know,
did a lot of stuff
producing it.
on the record too. Like
Yeah.
if I couldn't play a part, he'd play it. And like vocally, he's an amazing vocalist, and he do a lot of harmonies behind, and like he helped literally write it. He didn't like hit it in buttons. Like it was a project in which he helped complete without a doubt.
Yeah. So I would assume you might consider working with him again.
Yeah,
No,
Definitely.
absolutely.
No.
There's no way.
Ballbird? No, dude. No, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Dead to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Trev deserves the world.
You
man deserves
just
everything.
take this
Just a
little
babe.
clip right here of you guys giving praise. and love.
This will become like a commercial for him. Reviews from Speed Dial.
I also think, and this is from my very limited time in studio, but from my own experience, like performing like in a band and singing, and I did stuff vocally. Don't look it up. But being like in the studio and like recording stuff, especially like say that they're done, maybe they're not necessarily done, but they need some work, and especially working with like the producer or the engineer there, it's like automatically you click, or like
Yeah.
you end up being your most vulnerable because
Yeah.
it's something that you want to create and you only have so much time. So
Yeah.
you guys either click and make stuff work, you guys kind of hash stuff out, but like I don't know. I could sympathize in that sense, especially like buying studio time and also like trying to make sure that like your 7 days or the amount of time you have at the studio is
Yeah.
like worth it and you get everything out that you wanted to, you've been creating for who knows how long. But yeah, I don't know. I could almost like understand, like especially when you're working with an engineer or producer, like it clicks immediately and there
Yeah,
has
I
to be
mean,
some type of chemistry
Trev definitely
there.
allowed it to be like that
Yeah.
too. Like it wasn't like we were in his house almost. I mean, you know what I mean? We kind of were, but like
yeah.
I don't know. It was always easy, and it was always like just like very sweetheart-esque. Like not him, but it was just kind, and it was
Right.
like I don't know, it was just nice. You know, I don't
Also,
know.
yeah, it's also nice to know like the engineers are in their part and they're allowing you to be the artist,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
to do
yeah, yeah.
your due diligence, if you will. But
I remember him saying that with every band that he's worked with, there comes a point, probably somewhere around the 4 to 5 day mark, that the crazy just comes out. And the
Yeah, he
bands
did
really
say
are
that.
just like,
we were
yeah.
whacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're being ridiculous.
I would love
goofy
that
guys.
sounds so
Should've
What type of
recorded them.
crazy are we talking
It's like
here?
A lot of
Unspeakable
beer.
things.
Actually,
A lot of Call of
yes.
Duty on the Xbox, which is ridiculous. Well, we made like goofy versions of the songs, or like there's like a bridge and like
Yeah.
Bird or a Bridge and Tie, and we put those on Spotify too, just because why would
Really?
Yeah, and those came out like
Yeah.
the day before.
Before.
Right?
Yeah.
I laughed
I
so
don't
hard
know
when I
what
saw
happened
that.
there.
I posted them after too.
I know.
I think it was just because it was only 2 songs.
Yeah, right.
When that came out, I was like, this is the best promotion ever. I was like, they're geniuses.
That's awesome.
You have to take like the funny out of some of the recordings. Really funny enough, I was slaving away for like 7 hours recording, and it was the first time I ever recorded. And I come out, and our drummer had pieced all the moments in which I've gone into just like
that
a
is
minute and a
awesome.
half.
That
and
is
he's
so
like,
sick.
and I was like, I'm like, what you work on? He's like, look what I've done the last 3 hours. Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
just anyway.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I think promotion like that's super funny.
Dude, that. Yeah, we did stuff like that.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Well, while we're on the topic of the goofy stuff,
Yeah.
are you ever gonna pull out that verse? Maybe
When we
live.
were playing it, there's times where like like in Bird School, when it's all auto tune. There's
Yeah.
times where like I'll just because it's like that breakdown. You know what I mean?
It's the groovy one.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I want to look at me. You know what I mean? It's like. Where's your money, oh girl? No. Yeah, it's like it's all goofy, and I always I was like, I want to do it. Like earlier, I was like, I wish I could. It's all auto tune though, so it's all like this ridiculous. Like, but like I was like, I always like, I want to do that.
John,
It's
do
so
your
funny.
best impression right now of that.
Of what?
Of that.
Oh shoot! It's like, Shawty wanna look at me with my big weenie. Oh wait, is that on the bad word list?
I think it's all
I think
right.
we're
I think
okay.
we can get a pass on
Put a
that.
coin in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Jar.
No,
Jar.
yeah, that.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
The FCC is going to crack down on the local lowdown.
As if anything, they come for me. I'm program director. They'll come for. I was just gonna say another word. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Well, you mentioned it before, but you talked a little bit about the cover art.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a little bit more insight on Top Bloke Ent. Is it entertainment?
Yes,
Yes.
Is it
yes.
enterprise?
Entertainment.
Okay. What was the inspiration for that?
No, it was stupidity.
Yeah.
That's what the
Stupidity.
insp- yeah,
No,
that's
it was so we have a friend that does all of our artwork who
Carolyn
we,
Zimpfer.
Yes, Carolyn Zimpfer.
Mm.
Shout out. But you know, it's just we give free reign to and not only Carolyn, but Allie, who is Cooper's cousin, also did the. I feel like I have to shout out Allie too for the original EP cover. But
Yeah.
we
the
just give
Plaza
our
one.
friends free reign when it comes to like a lot of stuff. Like we'll be like, all right, maybe tweak this or that, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's all them that they pour themselves into.
And that was one thing we were talking about, like, for like, because like Carolyn doing the EP and like actually doing the flyer, because it's like the idea of it was supposed to be like there's a poll and it's full of like flyers or shows or like missing
Yeah.
dog, whatever, and then
Okay.
there's this one where it's like a dummy, like you're just like there's like a goofy guy in the front of it or something like that. And the one with the poll tabs is like if you need somebody to move your couch, here's a bunch of phone numbers, or if you need a babysitter or see my dog. It's supposed to be kind of like at least not spoon fed you could figure out on your own maybe or interpret it yourself, but like it's supposed to just be like the goofy guy, like like this fits me, I'll take the phone number.
Yeah.
I'm a,
And some of them are already
I-
taken.
Yeah,
Exactly.
In
We
real
have-
life, we
yeah.
left some of those posters around, and I mean,
Yes.
to the extent that the whole poster wasn't ripped off, some people were taking them. So
I feel so bad too because that is a real phone number, and we just completely
Yeah.
neglected
Oh,
the any consideration for the
I think her
person
name's
who owns it.
Kathy. It's yeah.
Kathy.
Sorry, Kathy.
I put one up at the practice space the one day, and there's like the bulletin board.
Not our practice space, but the
Oh yeah, the music mall. There's a place called the music
so
mall.
there's like a ton of bands that go through.
Yeah.
and they
Probably
all-
some Fred
the
guys
pull
are probably
tabs.
out there, but yeah, there's like pull tabs missing, and I was like, "This is beautiful."
That'd be
taking
great
them.
promo. Just
Is
like
it by
make something wacky.
any chance by the hostel?
Yeah, I was thinking it might be that one.
No, you talking about the
No.
hostel downtown? No, it's
No.
no.
Like
It's
next to
on-
the
Okay.
ballroom.
Yeah, no, I think you're
Yeah,
talking about
it's
like
near the
Theater
Walden
District
Galleria.
area.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool kid practice space. That's where the cool kids go. No, this one is like a
We've
brick
been-
building that looks like it's burned down plenty of times. or
Gotcha.
whatever.
Because I was
kick
about to say
rocks.
we've been to the cool kid place.
Yeah,
have
that
been to the
place
cool
is
kid
cool.
place.
They have a cool vending machine. They got couches and stuff. The place is sick.
Yeah. I just have one more question about the album cover.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Is Top Bloke Entertainment at all kind of inspired by Last Call Entertainment at all?
I remember
No,
Willie. I
it's-
think that's Willie's idea. Like he was like, we should have this be on it because everything
No, it was
about
Carolyn. It was Carolyn.
was I don't
I
know.
think so.
Everything about
Okay.
the band is funny. Like this is very like memey. Like
Yeah.
we just
Do
like,
not take ourselves seriously.
No, and
Gotcha.
it was very good. It made it difficult 90% of the time being in the band because everything's like just a joke all the time, and it's like,
Right.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But yeah, like there was tons of different ideas and yeah, that was like we should put that on there. And I'm like, what is
I don't
that?
even
What
think
is
we
bloke?
considered anything for it. I think it was just a last minute idea. That
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
like the
really,
cover.
yeah, dude. That's all. I'm really like, I'm happy that not that it like comes across, but like I was like, it was just an idea we were figuring out, and it's like completely like it's a weird idea. I just want it to be like somewhat open to interpretation that people can kind of get it,
love
but also
that,
just
yeah.
be whatever they were trying to figure
Yeah,
out or whatever.
yeah.
And I think that originally it was just supposed to be like a hand with the flyer, and then when we were taking photos, someone like got me in the frame. and I had like a beer with me or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're hanging out, and it's like in this weird neighborhood,
Yeah.
and the way the filter or whatever looked over it just kind of looked moody, but it also had like a goofiness to it, which was like satirical almost.
Yeah, I think there's a nice balance of kind of capturing that moment in an artistic way, and then what you're saying
It
with
worked
the goofy
out,
stuff.
so it was like the universe
Right.
that did that. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
it was like this is even cooler than what like.
That's great.
I was
Yeah.
really happy we did promo shots before we decided on this one. We actually did 2 separate shoots, and the first one, I wanted to use it, but it's Cooper
Oh,
and his
yeah, yeah.
girlfriend, and his girlfriend Jordan is in the back just walking, doing I don't know what, but it just looked so much like
It kind of
an
reminds
iconic
me.
emo album. You
It
know,
does.
so
It kind
like
of
a
reminds me
staple.
of what's that band? Movements, but it's like the girls in the raincoat kind of thing. And she's like dancing. I don't know.
Okay.
I
You know
haven't
what I'm
seen
talking about?
it.
I
don't
believe so.
I'm not really too much into movements. I just know that was like a thing that was going on. I remember like thinking about that when that happened.
Shout out to Koss. He's always wearing that
I
movement
was
shirt.
just thinking about that. I was like, we're gonna have to
That's
reference
where
our
that's from,
movements aficionado in the station,
Yeah.
Casio, for his
Also
opinion on it.
running the Local Load on Twitter. So
Yeah.
check us out.
So this is for you, Cooper. You also play in the band Early Worm,
Yeah.
right? Which features other members who went here from Fredonia.
Yeah.
The weather might say otherwise. Shout out to them as well.
Yeah.
How have your friendships kind of impacted your band and what you create?
Like speed dial
Yeah.
or just whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the music scene and the friendships you've made.
Oh, it's like it's the only thing that makes it for me. I mean, playing music is awesome, and playing music as a band and for people is cool. I always felt like I could just do it in my room or whatever. But when you like those guys, like meeting those guys, and then the house, like Fredonia, Maple 37 Maple,
Yeah.
or North Pole Strip Club.
Yeah.
Like that was just like because eventually they lived in the house, and when I first met them, they were freshmen and they went to Fredonia when my brother went. So I would just drive Blake back and forth to Fredonia when they pick him up and hang out and stuff like that, and my buddy Trevor Knight. And they're like, yeah, you got to meet these other guys. They're really cool. And then Speed Dial played the basement one time. It was like, I don't know, our set was like, it was like whatever. It was Plaza Days. And they were like pumped. Like they came up, and this was before Twimso, I think, or they were just starting or something. But they came up and they're like, dude, you guys are dope. And I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah. And then eventually we just hung out more. We're all the same age and like went to shows more, got to know everybody more. And then during the pandemic or the pandoodle, me and Milo Dune, I was like, Milo Dune is like my hero. I remember seeing him at a house show. I'm gonna go on a little rant. I remember seeing him at a house show in Buffalo. Garden Closet, I think.
Yeah, they played Local Lowdown
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Garden Closet. I don't know if they were a band then. I think they might have been called something different. I think it was a ward show or something. Or I'm mixing the bands up, and I apologize. But I saw Milo play at like that band's house, and it was just a random house on the west side that doesn't usually throw shows, but they had a show that night. And I just went to the shows because I just go to shows back when. And Milo was playing, and I was like, dude, this guy is amazing. So then me and Milo, maybe I think he was into Plaza or something, and then we really tried just to become friends. Like we really just was like open about that. Like I like you, you like me. Like you're really good. I'm really like I don't know. Like
Join
you
the
like what
friend
I'm
group.
doing. So we got really close, and then we started writing songs, and then we needed people to play in the band, and we wanted more of a friend, you know what I mean, to be in the band than some acquaintance that was just like whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Coop, I got a question for you about that. What came first? Was it the split EP you did with Milo, or was that Early Worm?
We put out the split definitely first, and it was just
Right.
songs that I had and Milo had, and then eventually, I think it was around the same time we started the band or whatever. We were talking about it. It's crazy to think about it. It's been a couple of years now,
Right.
but yeah, we just wanted to be in a band with our friends, and then they ran 37 Maple, which was sick. You know what I mean? It's just like the coolest thing I could have.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And now we have a practice space together at the Music Mall. We all
Great.
hang out, and it's
Yeah.
like Twimso and Early Worm together, and we're always hanging out. Or I don't know. It's just great. It's really good energy for those guys.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I went on a little tangent there. I'm really happy about it.
Super
I really
excited.
care about them.
Yeah.
To add to your tangent, fun fact, and I'm just taking credit here, but
Yeah.
I was in Early Worm for like probably
Yo, Johnny
3
was
weeks.
in Early Worm.
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Johnny
Speed
was.
Dial was on hiatus at
lore
the moment,
deepens.
and
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to mention
I don't think
that.
I deserve any writing credits or anything. I definitely couldn't do it because they practiced out here in Fredonia at the
Yeah.
beginning, and you know about them pandemic gas prices.
Pandoodle.
Yeah, so gas prices were bad, so
Yeah, we were like coming out to Fred like once a week.
Wow.
And it was wild. It was like you get out of
Wow.
work at 3 and you come out here and then drive back. That was wild.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny was in the band for a minute.
just stealing
there.
some clout there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sorry, I meant to
interesting
mention
to hear how these three bands are kind of networked in one
Yeah,
way or
yeah.
another.
Love
So
that.
Well, actually, even before Speed Dial, Will and I were in another band.
What was that one called?
It was basically an extension of Satellite Nation, which I played with this other cool cat named Vincent Lima.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of rock stuff. But then once that went on hiatus, that was when me and Will quickly were like, all right, let's form something new now. And that's how Speed Dial
Yeah, we
came
all
to
got
be.
to meet each other, yeah.
It's like one big circle.
look at that.
Literally. And that keeps it going, I think. That actually makes it, like, worth it. When you're sitting there, you're all like, dude, I wrote a song, but it's power chords, or and you're like, I don't know, being, like, a wimp about whatever, not being, like, pumped. And you get your friends there, and you're like, dude, what are you talking about? And then they own 37, or they're Vincent Lima, or they're Don Carr, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm a person, or whatever. I can do something.
Like, I guess I could do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So,
Well, speaking of having good times,
Heck
playing with
yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
it's time to transition to our live performance. Take it
Booyah.
away, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, this one's called Cannonball Waterside off I Dumbass. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to think that you don't know the half what you claim you do, and I'm beginning to think that that's true. 'Cause I know what posture I hold can be shifted to more optimum positions, and I blame my frustrations on you. 'Cause I know I don't wanna be. No, I don't wanna be like you. 'Cause lately I'm feeling I'm like you. And see it, wanna beat it. For what I can say, trying to look the other way as often as I can. Judgments and assumptions made me feel as though I couldn't be the person I wanted when I was around you. La, 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 la. Look up to you. No, 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 no. And I know I don't mean much to you or cross your mind as much as you do mine. I still swim with the thought of living up to you and everything that you do. This next one's called Ty Pennington. I wonder if you're for me. Love makes me silly. 'Cause I've been slamming my head through fences. There's got to be more than just me. And I wait in vain for something I'm ashamed of. And what does that make of me? And I'm not the same as when you met me. Is it greener on the other side? To think about hopping that fence sometimes. And I know you well enough to know that you wouldn't mind. Mistakes, they happen. I know you more than you know yourself. And if I know you best, I bet a compliment, don't forget it. You and your well-to-do white grin, so use it. And when you keep me out of sight, you keep me out of mind. I lose my head sometimes, and I'm good at that. Though I know better than that. You keep me out of sight, you keep me out of mind. And living for the weekends don't come right anymore. And I know that. I think we all know that. And getting old, but I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. That was called Ty Pennington. All right, this one's called Bird Skull. It's also off that EP. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not as zen as your bonsai that you keep trim. Keep that in mind the next time you say things. The world is small and it barely even fits me. And you want me to be just like you.
friend. It's harder to call you my friend. I have a bird skull. I'll fly into a window. When I jump from the nest, will you let go? I have a bird skull. I'll fly into a window. When I jump from this nest, will you let go? Let go. Let go. Thanks. This one's called Volcano. I think it's rough that at this point I wouldn't have a right to try my best, squeeze back into your life. And I went south, cause I couldn't keep my mouth out of conversations that weren't meant for me. It's not at all you, 'cause I did this too. Just wondered if you changed this as much as I want to. 'Cause I do. And make me believe that there's something good for me. Thanks. Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much for that set. We really appreciate you
Yeah.
coming down
We apologize
and
for
playing for us.
I'm so sorry.
No, you guys did awesome.
Appreciate
We
it.
really enjoyed
They'll
it.
Really good.
never know.
We'll see our
All the
winner.
editing,
Sorry.
boop, 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 boop.
Never
Got
know.
stuck to 9 minutes.
See the bloopers down here. No, All right, so I am gonna hand this off, and I want to continue with the questions, and this is gonna go for Mr. Merch Gremlin. I've listened to like a couple of like the songs, especially trying to do my research before today, and me and Jordan were talking right out there, and we heard you play, and I was like, if I had suspicions that this was anything of what I thought Alex might like as songs, I was like, this is so right his alley. Like if you scroll down at his playlist at all, this is like at least the sound of what you guys played is exactly
It very much is.
what you guys sound like.
And that was brought to my attention. I was like, ooh la la. Let me do a little deep dive. And it was brought to my attention.
Indeed.
Right? It was brought to my attention as scrolling through the Insta. I'm looking at a pretty cool show poster from 222 weeks ago.
Wow.
Very long time ago, but Mom Jeans,
Yeah.
Mover Shaker,
Yeah.
Prince Daddy, and the Hyena.
Highlight of my life. Has not gotten better since then.
Let
2019.
I've got to know how that show in particular went for you guys because Mom Jeans, hands down, my favorite band in the whole world. I've got the whole discography
I
on
can
vinyl.
testify.
I listen to every single one of their songs. I'm loving Mom Jeans. So I got to know, how is it to be what I want to be? How is it to live the life I want to be?
Super intimidating for starters, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
wild.
like a trillion people. We were playing basements, and then we just drive down to
Yeah.
Erie, and suddenly there's like 500 people or whatever. It's scary, but
You got the little cool like pass to put on your belt. I remember the one time there's all these kids lined down because we don't know, we were the schmucks and like didn't even have music out or like what. I mean, maybe we did, but it was in
that
some
Dookie
attic.
EP.
Yeah, and it was like whatever. We're walking out of like that little what's it called, and after we're making some stupid meme jokes about whatever we're talking about. We have the little plastic thing on. We're like, I'm like 19, I think, or whatever. And we're just sitting there like just walking down a line of people, and like we're the opening band, and then like which is whatever. But then it's like everyone's taking their tickets. Everyone's like looking at you because you're like in the band. You're like, we're in the band, dude. Like we're doing it. Like we're cool now or whatever. But we used to go out and play Erie shows all the time. There was like there's this booking agency called Andromeda, or I think it was Andromeda. It changed their name or something like that, maybe prior or whatever. And this lady Elvis that was throwing shows and booking, and I think that we just got gigs because we have a lot of friends and a lot of friends that at the time really liked going to shows and just having a good time, and we would bring a lot of our friends out. We think that mixed with just like
Yeah.
I mean
I think for that show specifically, we had like 20, 25 people come out to
yeah
see
we had a
us.
bunch,
Oh,
and it was in
that's
Erie
awesome.
too, so it's like.
Yeah.
We used, you know what I mean? It's like an hour or so drive, and all these
Right.
people would make the trip out. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe she saw something in us enough just to play, and then along with that, maybe it's just like I don't know the business side or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, it was like if you guys whatever, you can play it, and it was Mom Jeans, Prince Daddy, Mover Shaker, and we had other shows after that with Mover Shaker and like bands like Nice and things like that went on. But that one
Wow,
was
that's cool.
yeah, it was honestly that was one of the coolest things about the band is that we started getting traction in the exact sound and scene that we needed to be. And like that was like
Okay.
the game
There
changer.
was
For
correlation. I didn't want
Yeah.
to assume.
Like
Yeah,
that was
sorry.
like because we were the same band. So we listened to Mom Jeans,
Yep.
we listened to all that's a
Yeah.
Prince Daddy. We still listen to like all those bands. And it was just
right,
like
right.
and I remember waking up and I'm waking up and me and Jordan are sitting there in bed or whatever, and I'm talking to Andromeda or Elvis, and she's like, "Yeah, this gig, blah 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 blah. You guys want to play it?" And I'm like freaking out. We're going to getting breakfast. I'm like calling all of our friends. I'm talking about it all the time. It was
Yeah.
like it was wild. It was wild. And then you got there and played, and then we played. And they're like, "Thank you, Speed Dial." And they're like,
Right.
"They're a good band." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Oh my God! So that show, the whole atmosphere, it was unreal. There were
It
Yeah.
was.
it was like I don't know how many hundreds of people. I want to say 2 to 3, but it was like hosted in this. You had to go through an open garage door, and there was just a bunch of open space.
It's like a big
Um,
warehouse.
And when we got on stage, like, you got all these people looking at you, and it's the first time you've played for like 300 people. So you're like, oh,
And they're like kids your age.
They're kids your age. So it's a little, that takes a lot of, a little bit of the stress
wild.
away.
The stage is like a foot big because it was kind of like still DIY-esque. Like I think even for
Right.
the booking agency, I can't speak for anything like that, but that was even a big gig for them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like, and it's like the trio. It's like Mom Jeans, Prince Daddy. I remember like sitting there playing. And there wasn't a bar in front of us. Like there wasn't like a gate or anything keeping the crowd from us. It was literally kids right up to us, and it's like a foot high stage, so it felt like a basement. And then like
Did you get crowd surfed?
the kids were not while we were playing, but I remember when Mom Jeans was playing because we're all going off and we had drinks, we're all having a good time, and I'm like, we're getting crowd surf, you crowd surf, and I think like I don't remember, but I think there's a point in time like because we were in the beginning band and we were crowd surfing that it was just like everybody was having a good time. Like I don't know, again like another like universe thing, but like it literally felt like that everybody was on the same wavelength that show, and everybody was digging it,
And
everybody
the
enjoyed
way
it.
that manifested was when your strap fell off your guitar.
Oh,
I was like, everyone, like you, me, and John, we
Went
all
down on one
instinctively
knee,
went down.
dude.
We all
That's
went on one knee,
hilarious.
and it was corny, but it was cool at the same time. It was a corny cool.
One more thing on it, I remember going to Pittsburgh with Jordan and my buddy Kyle. Me and Kyle played another band called Partners on Shanley. I played drums. It's just like a duo. We should have music out pretty soon. But we were on our way to go see this gig. I think it was like The Obsessed or something. And I'm going through the speed dial stuff, and I'm looking at the messages. And there's one in like not the primary, not the general, but like the one where it's like if you like it's a random message or whatever. And I go to it, and it's like a couple months old, and it's just this random person. It's like a paragraph, and they're just talking about how awesome that show was and how important that show was and how like if we didn't understand or realize how sick that was, that it was truly awesome. I was just like, this is crazy. I was like, what are we doing? I was like, where are we right now? This is wild.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, thank you so much.
That is
like,
I got
awesome.
antsy and like,
dude, it was crazy.
Listen, my taste in music is very weird. Okay, I like my K-pop. I like my
There you
pop.
go.
I like my Spanish music. I listen to rock.
Yeah,
Magnolia Park.
that's how it should be. A wide spectrum.
Right.
wide spectrum.
It's music industry kids for you, but for that same reason, I have like a particular goal. I was like, I don't know why, but I think we're like as a show on the right track. I was like, to get in my wildest dreams, what maybe would happen because we're about to graduate. But I was like, maybe in the future, to get either like shout out from Mom Jeans or like get something because we've also had our like
awesome.
small like little peaks of like hills and being like, oh, that's really cool, that's happening. Like Daniel Nunnally came when he was doing tour, and
Yeah.
this man's is like popping off on,
That's
on
awesome.
Spotify.
One of my favorite local lowdown moments is, by any chance, do you know the band Pool Kids?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, earlier
Yeah,
when
he
we
played with them.
Yeah.
Maple, yeah.
Oh,
At that-
that's awesome.
The house.
The house show, that's right, with Early Worm. We interviewed Pool Kids in their van
That is so
outside of
sick.
North Pole that
So
night.
sick.
One of my favorite nights for Fredonia music ever.
Ever. It was an
Like,
incredible night.
That was sweet. That was
Yes.
ridiculous.
Now, whenever I go see Pool Kids, I'm always looking out for the van, and I'll always send a text to Jordan.
Yeah.
Because I'm always with Mel when I see Pool Kids for some reason. So I'm like,
that's true.
Mel, we got to send a picture of the Pool Kids van to Jordan.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
We were in there, dude.
we were in there,
They
dude.
were, man.
or
Shout
like
out to them.
yeah, we've
Shout
done
out
like
to Pool Kids.
even like smaller things. We've got like liners from Real Friends, which is really cool for the
That's sick.
station.
We have a liner from Real Friends. We've interviewed Khaki Cuffs. Do you know Khaki
okay.
Cuffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of I sneak my little Midwestern emo,
He does.
you know,
Yeah.
emo
Yeah.
type beat into the show occasionally. I'm able to sneak it
Yeah.
in. a
Listen,
little bit.
Always
we're-
happy to have.
We're on the right track, and I don't wanna.
Mhm.
I don't wanna. Why is it glued
Where's
all of
the-
a
where's the
sudden?
wood?
Why is it glued the one time this is?
We fixed it. I made Johnny fix the table.
Where's red?
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny.
But
But
red.
other than being a huge Mom Jeans fan, there was a little sneak peek of what's to come. And while I'm a Mom Jeans fan, I am the technical director here at the show. I make sure all the tech stuff is working correctly. I have a third persona. I have a third personality,
man.
We let him out.
known as
at
the
end of
merch
semester.
gremlin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The merchiest
Episode.
gremlin alive.
Don't feed him after midnight.
Yes.
Actually,
Digging-
do because then he'll buy all your merch.
Yes,
Yeah.
digging in the gold mines, looking for all of the band merch available. And let me tell you, I was digging, I was searching, and I thought I had, I thought I was down bad. I thought I was, it wasn't looking bright. I saw some T-shirts that were posted on your Instagram like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if there's anything new coming out. But your recent post, that second image looks like it's on some sort
shirt.
some sort of shirt.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. All the details. Yeah, I didn't have a photo of it, so I was just like, I have a photo of it on a shirt. So I zoomed in really close. I was like, I wonder if anyone will tell. That's.
I was able to tell. Well, tell me about merch. What's it looking like in the merch line? What's coming up?
Well,
We might have like 5 shirts left. To be
Yeah.
honest.
You mean 2?
I do have like a sack, yeah. I still have a sack of shirts in my closet from like the
Oh my
old-
god. Yeah, I have like
The
a box
giraffe
full
ones.
underneath my bed.
That's all Carolyn Zimfer, man. I think,
Yep.
like, especially with this EP, especially with the flyer, like, there was this thing that we were, like, at least it was a cool idea where, like, Carolyn's style is Carolyn's style, and there's nothing else like Carolyn's style. There's nothing else like any of that. And for a while, we were trying to figure out a stylistic approach for us, like whether it was like promos on social media or flyers or like
Yeah.
anything like that. When we were doing shows, like hitting shows really hard, and like especially for this release, we were like really trying to figure things out. At that point in time, but we were like, if Carolyn, like, and we went to high school with Carolyn, so like, if Carolyn like would be willing to and down, like Carolyn's style could be like the style of, you know what I mean, for like what we were looking for the band, and it would just like fit really well. So Carolyn just like helped print shirts and did like all of that stuff, and like it was like that's like her thing. So I think that one that you're talking about, like the like trifecta head or whatever that was,
Yeah.
I think it was just like a doodle that she had in her scrapbook, and we're all just sitting there at her house, like partying and hanging out or whatever. And we're like, Carolyn, like, dude, this should be this, or this should be this, or this should be that. Yeah, like I believe her Instagram is like Soupist, like the one word Soupist. She has a bunch of stuff on Instagram, Speed Dial, and I believe she plans on doing a bunch of stuff. Starjuice, the band Starjuice, she works with Starjuice a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I
They
felt
do.
I was gonna be like right towards the end of the
Yeah.
interview. I was gonna shout them
There
out
you
because
go.
like I would never forgive myself if I didn't mention my own partner's band.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, yeah, I love collecting merch. So I just gotta ask, the new EP, is that coming out on any type of physical media? Any
I
chance,
think
like
the
CDs
I
or
think us
cassettes?
as a band needs to figure out our approach for being a band and things like that. We've always been a band, but we've always like there's been times where we didn't have any music out, or there's been times we didn't have any music out, but we had like 5 prints of like 2 smalls, 3 larges. It's a red one, a blue one. It's like we just kind of always been all over the place in that aspect. And like maybe we need to think about like cleaning things like that up and like really getting a better approach on that. But like, yeah, I mean, ideally, like I was always like super into tapes, and I had a tape player in my first car, and I just collected as many tapes as possible. So like, tapes would be sick.
Tapes
Shirts
would be
just in general would be dope. Like if someone just wanted to buy one, whenever, like if you just wanted to buy one on a website, you should be able to like do something like that. Carolyn's artwork deserves things like that too. So it's just, I don't know, just a lot of time went by and just maybe not thinking about things that direct, but. It seems like there's a push for it. I
I
don't know.
mean, you got customers.
I'm
right here.
pushing for
Yeah,
a tape.
right.
I'm pushing for a tape.
That's cool, man. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to figure things out. I mean, we gotta. So
Well, Merch Gremlin will be in the wings waiting.
that is sick.
Waiting to pounce.
For the merch gremlin.
For the merch
and
gremlin.
asterisks for the on the bottom of the shirt. You know what I mean?
That'd be so funny. Well, I'll hand it back off to our
Yeah.
hosts.
Well, talking about waiting, is there anything upcoming for you guys? Anything that we should be looking out for, whether it's either shows or anything in the
Our
Yeah, y'all, like-
reformation.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. We're like the true hiatus coyote. I think we're 4 hiatus.
The true
We're-
hiatus
yeah.
coyote.
Like we just
yeah.
take
That
breaks
is
like
what they
nobody
do.
else, man. But
Well,
Awesome.
we'll see after Coop gets back from California.
Yeah, I'm going on like a summer trip or whatever, and I don't know. Like we were saying, the Pandoodle came and like took a lot of time. I think honestly, man, I think we're just playing catch up to ourselves, and I think we're trying to find things. We're also a little older now, and like life is just settling. I think we just really need to just like if it's green, go. If it's red, stop, kind of stuff, and like figure stuff like that out. but yeah, I mean, hopefully more shows. We got a lot of offers after the EP, and it was just like there were sick offers too, and it was just different stuff like that.
That's
We were
awesome.
like, yeah, it was
like big bands.
yeah, and different
Wow.
stuff, and like actual like cool stuff, and it was like. And like, I mean, we're just kind of in a limbo right now, and I mean, it took a while to put out the music, so I think we're just kind of have to find ourselves and like figure things out and just catch our footing, maybe. Yeah, I mean, the biggest obstacle is getting the music out. So the music's out, and now, now it's just, I don't know, prioritize
We
things.
cast
but-
the net now. We're waiting for a bite.
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Right.
Well, I mean, we'll be waiting. I'm
Dude.
super excited.
that's awesome.
I'm pretty like, what's the word? Like, when I like certain music, and I listen to this, I was like, ooh, I could put this on repeat. And I'm definitely like that listener, on your Spotify rap when you have like 20,000 listens, like
Yeah.
for one song, and there's
Yeah,
like, how do
right.
you listen to that song? Like, I will replay that until I'm sick of it. And I was like, I like this. I was like, I can get behind this. And Alex and I usually don't correlate in songs whatsoever.
Mel's got her favorites. I got my driving 80 in the tugboat playlist.
There you go. In the tug. That's awesome.
But would you say that like a full-length project in the future is a possibility for you guys at all?
Like a whole
I don't
album.
think it's off the table. No.
We'd certainly love to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We there's no reason for us. There's no reason for us not to. I think
Okay.
people care, and if I don't know, Mom Jean's gigs or Plaza. I don't know, and the artwork's cool. There's all of it just feels right. I mean,
Yeah, if it's not Speed Dial, then it's going to be one of our other projects.
Yeah, some
It'll always
dealer.
be
something.
at it.
Twang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're super excited for what you guys will have in the
Thanks,
future,
guys.
and thank you for
Yeah. Exactly.
explaining a lot of like the nitty-gritty details of all the questions we had. Sorry if like, listen, like that's kind of how we roll with.
That is kind of our thing.
And shout out to our A&R team, like they do a fantastic job at like getting in on these questions.
Yeah, this
getting-
is cool. man. Like,
Yeah, I feel like your job here is so difficult, especially when you're dealing with a local band. Like if you have to ask Post Malone a question, that's easy. He's got
Yeah.
a
I
whole
know.
track
Right.
record.
You know?
When I
Versus
ask him
with us.
questions, it's super hard.
I
don't know how to
love
approach it.
like
Nardwuar
making
from
local
local
bands
There you
feel like
go.
celebrities.
We have done that
I
a couple
think
times.
that we do a good job.
That's why we dig
Yeah.
222 weeks back in the Instagram.
That's so
Mom
cool.
Jeans
man.
does.
Is this a shirt? What is this? That's so sweet. Yeah, it feels like people care. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely one.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Yeah,
Of
thank you for having
course,
us. Yeah.
Of course. And that is going to conclude another episode for the Local Lowdown. Thank you guys again so much for coming on.
Yeah,
And it's a pleasure having you guys.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody
thanks,
look at
guys.
camera one. Camera
Yeah.
two.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for tuning in to the Local Lowdown on 88.9 WCVF The Voice and 89.5 WDVL The Inferno. We will be back next week with some more spacey local music.
I love it.
Same time,
same place. Goodbye.